Mr. Scalise, recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you having this hearing, Mr. Secretary. Thank you for coming before our committee. I want to express similar sentiments as Dr. Burgess and others expressed. I strongly support all of the above energy policy. I think, frankly, in our country, we're sadly lacking a real energy policy that allows us to utilize the natural resources we have in this country. We've got to use all the things we have, including wind and solar. But clearly, as we can see, those technologies still haven't advanced to the level that they need to. And what's at heart here is this question of this Solyndra loan, the $535 million of taxpayer money that have been lost. And how did we get to this point? I think one of the big issues that I've struggled with and others is when we get to this question of subordination as the loan was restructured. You know, we go back and we look at the law. This is the law of the United States, and it seems clear to those of us that have looked at the law that you cannot subrogate the taxpayer, meaning you can't put the taxpayer in the back of the line when you come to this decision of whether or not you're going to restructure. And so this is the document, this is the actual restructuring that we got from your agency. This is the document that initiated the restructuring of the loan, including the subordination of the taxpayer. And I noticed that on the last page, is this your signature on this page? Did you sign off on this document? This is noted as item tab 59.
59.
Department of Energy, and this actually deals with the restructuring of the loan guarantee to Solyndra, including the restructuring. Did you sign off on this? I think you've said in some public statements I've seen. I just want to verify. This is your signature on this document?
That is my signature.
And clearly, when you go back and look at the law, and I would hope, did you look at the law yourself before you signed off on this document?
Yes.
And this is not a long law. It's not 50 pages. It's not even a paragraph.
That's
you
right.
Looked at this law. You looked at this one paragraph and you said, even though it says, the obligation shall be subject to the condition that the obligation is not subordinate to other financing. You can tell me you read this and you can still determine that it's okay for you to subordinate the taxpayer, even though the law says it's not?
We did not subordinate the taxpayer under the terms of the original loan, and we followed the law.
Does the taxpayer have first dibs on the $535 million when the first dollar comes in from Solyndra, if one even does?
At the time of the original loan...
That's a yes or no question.
Right now, after...
Yes or no, Mr. Secretary? Does the taxpayer have first dibs, or is some other company going to get first dibs on the first dollar that comes in, or the first $75 million?
After restructuring?
Yes or no? The American taxpayer?
After restructuring.
What was your answer?
After restructuring, no.
No. Okay, so you did that. Now let's go back to your legal counsel. Your legal counsel did look at this. Not only did your legal counsel look at this and their determination, and I'll go to page 5 of the legal opinion, that's tab 67. Their legal opinion says this reading of the provision is reinforced by the use of the word is. So here we go again with, it's going to come down to the definition of the word is, if that's really how you're going to hang your hat. But let's go beyond your department's attorneys. We've got an email, and we discussed this in a previous hearing in our committee. I would hope you've seen this. Gary Berner over at the Treasury said, the statute rests with the Department of Justice the authority to accept the compromise of a claim to the U.S. government in those instances. They had recommended that y'all go to the Department of Justice. Did you do that?
We did not, because we did.
Why would you not go to the Department of Justice if this isn't within, this isn't somebody on our side, this is the Obama administration, the Treasury Department saying, you ought to go to the Department of Justice because we don't think it's legal to put the taxpayer in the back of the line on a $535 million loan. Why didn't you at least do that due diligence?
Because when you, within the covenant of the loan and within the boundaries of the original loan, if you are acting within those original agreements, you need not go to the Justice Department.
And I guess that's your opinion. I think it's wrong, and I think it's going to come out that you did violate the law in that regard. And it's a shame for the taxpayer. I want to know who all the people were in the decision-making process. Was anyone at the White House involved in the decision to restructure the loan? Not just to subordinate the taxpayer, but to restructure. Did you get any pressure? Because we have emails showing there was pressure coming from the White House. It's one of the reasons why we're still trying to get documents from the White House. We haven't been able to get that. We had to subpoena it. We still haven't gotten it all. Who in the White House was talking to you about restructuring the loan?
To best my knowledge, I have no knowledge of anyone saying you need to restructure this loan. This was something, as I repeatedly.
And if you get any information on that, we're still going to try to get the facts here. We're trying to get to the bottom of the loss of $535 million. I've heard a lot of talk about politics. I've seen a lot of emails from within the administration about politics, as we've seen that the Washington Post had the front page story talking about emails from within your department, Department of Energy, saying pressing Solyndra. They're not concerned about the layoffs. They're not concerned that people are going to lose their jobs. They're just concerned about the timing, the politics. Wait until after the election. This is disgusting. And I would hope that you're going to go in your department. It's happened under your nose. You testified here under oath. You knew nothing about it. It happened in your agency. I hope you'll go back in your agency and have some heads roll. People need to be held accountable because political decisions were being made in your department. They were being made in the White House, above you, made below you. And hopefully maybe you weren't making any of those, but it sure is strange that they're being made all around you, and I hope that somebody's going to be held accountable because we're going to fight to hold people accountable because $535 million in taxpayer money was lost. I don't see any chain of emails looking out for the taxpayer money. I see a whole lot of emails in the administration that are concerned about the politics. That's what stinks the most about this. And so I know we're going to have another round.
Gentleman's time has expired.
I yield back.